It has been about 2 months since the current administration was formed. In Japanese politics, this is usually the point at which the so called honeymoon period ends. Yet, Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi's cabinet approval rating remains around 75%. Even more striking, support among people aged 18 to their early 20s exceeds 90%, an extraordinarily rare figure. If we look around the world, including Europe and the United States, approval ratings for national leaders are generally struggling. So, why is Japan an exception? Why does this administration maintain such high support? And why is that support especially strong among young people? In this video, we start from one simple fact: Prime Minister Takaichi's approval ratings. From there, we analyze the background calmly and carefully, based on data and concrete results. Who is Sanai Takaichi? Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi was born in Nara Prefecture. She did not come from a wealthy or politically connected family, but from what would be considered a typical regional salaried household. She has no relatives who were national or local politicians and entered national politics as a non-dynastic politician, a woman from outside Tokyo, an extremely unusual path in Japanese politics at the time. After building her career step by step, she has now become Japan's first female prime minister. She is also widely known as the political figure who most clearly inherited the policy direction of former Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, often described as his de facto successor. Her consistency in principles, policy positions, and view of the state was recognized long before she became prime minister. Approval ratings and Japan's political anomaly. According to public opinion polls conducted in December, overall cabinet approval rating 75.9% by age group, ages 18 to 20, an astonishing 92.4%. 30s, 40s, and 50s, close to 80%, 60s, 69%, 70 and above, 65.9%. While lower than the youth approval rate, it remains at a solidly high level. While exact figures vary slightly between polling organizations, all major polls show the same pattern: exceptionally high overall support and especially strong backing among young people. Internationally, this is highly unusual. What makes this even more remarkable is that this surge in support did not come from a change in ruling parties. In fact, Japan's ruling Liberal Democratic Party, LDP, had been facing what many described as the worst crisis in its history. Support had collapsed. The party suffered heavy defeats in 2 national elections and the Tokyo metropolitan election within a single year, and for the first time in its 70-year history, lost its majority in both houses of parliament. Former Prime Minister Ishiba was forced out after just 1 year, and many believed recovery would be extremely difficult. Yet after Sanai Takaichi took office, not only did cabinet approval rebound, but support for the LDP itself began to recover. Party membership increased, and public evaluation of the party as a whole improved. This cannot be explained as a simple change of face. It represents a highly unusual development in Japanese politics. Why is her support so strong? Prime Minister Takaichi's approval rating has not declined after taking office. It has remained consistently high. This is not due to a single factor. Rather, 4 elements interact with one another: policy, results, personality, and media dynamics. Policy: restoring Japanness, not ideology. Her policies cannot be easily categorized as simply conservative or liberal. Key characteristics include revising systems that no longer function realistically in Japanese society, respecting tradition and order while clearly rejecting xenophobia, prioritizing concrete problems people actually face over ideology. As a result, support extends beyond traditional conservative voters to people who had previously distanced themselves from politics, younger generations who do not identify clearly with left or right. She has also introduced a large number of member initiated bills and consistently demonstrates a higher density and depth of policy discussion than her peers, including during leadership debates and parliamentary sessions. Despite addressing complex issues, she avoids technical jargon and explains them in clear, accessible language. Her ability to explain policy turns debates themselves into moments of support building. Results, speed that goes beyond, will consider it. One of the defining features of the Takaichi administration is speed. Within just 2 months, the temporary gasoline tax surcharge was abolished. The income threshold, income wall, was raised. Government bills were passed consecutively. These were issues that previous administrations discussed for years without resolution. In foreign policy, the same pattern is visible. From the start of her term, diplomatic engagement intensified, including high-profile interactions such as President Trump's visit to Japan and international summits. Her response to pressure from China, particularly following remarks related to a Taiwan contingency, drew special attention. Despite intense criticism and pressure, including from domestic left-leaning groups, she did not resort to emotional confrontation, did not retreat from her position, asserted Japan's stance calmly and consistently, firm but composed, unyielding without provocation. This posture transformed support into something stable and sustained, rather than temporary or factional. Personality, strength without exclusion. While often described as a strong leader, Prime Minister Takaichi does not practice exclusionary politics. This is evident in her appointments. She assigned all rivals from the party leadership race to key positions. Rather than creating enemies, she incorporates differing views into the administration. Although she is Japan's first female prime minister, she rarely emphasizes that fact herself. For many supporters, it is not supporting her because she is a woman, but rather the person we want as prime minister happens to be a woman. Her merit-based approach and refusal to weaponize identity resonate strongly with younger generations. Media, attacks that backfired. Ironically, media coverage has also strengthened her support, and Japan broadcast law formally prohibits one-sided political bias, and television networks present themselves as neutral news providers, though enforcement has long been ambiguous. Since her time as a leadership candidate, and even more so after becoming prime minister, coverage has grown increasingly hostile. Selective editing, misleading framing, narratives that appear openly sympathetic to China. In some cases, reporting that is factually incorrect. As this continued, even people who previously trusted mainstream media began to question it. The result has been a cycle. Media attempts to lower support. Public backlash on social media. Stronger supporter cohesion. This reflects not just backlash, but the moment when long-standing media distrust turned into conviction. Conclusion. Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi's high approval ratings are not the result of chance or a temporary boom. They reflect the convergence of clear policies, tangible results, consistent leadership, shifts in Japan's political environment, and the declining influence of traditional mass media. Regardless of whether one supports her or not, this phenomenon is crucial for understanding contemporary Japanese politics. In truth, far more factors are at work than can be covered in a single video. How the support evolves and how it reshapes Japanese society and politics is something that must continue to be examined carefully, grounded in data and facts.